All right, welcome back to Views and Vibes. We are sitting here with artists, with poets, singers, rappers, people who have been out there for years pursuing this art, trying to make sure it doesn't go too far underground. But ultimately, it seems like that's the only place that you can find real lyrics, is underground. And is that because of the machine? Is the machine purposely keeping people who have real and true talent, who are MCs, who have that poetry background, who have been educated, you know, trying to keep them under and then trying to bring up people who actually have no skills? And why would they do that? Yeah. I mean, is that even smart business?
I was gonna say, it seems like it's a double-edged sword because technology has allowed, I mean, you talk about the machine, like now people can produce their own albums, right. which is the power of the local artists, underground artists. Right. So we could do it. All you need is a basement, some styrofoam, you know what I'm saying, right. and some bootleg music software, and you can put your own stuff out there. Right. So I would say that we have to be definitely innovative, and technology allows us to put out our own stuff now. But when we have like these crazy aspirations to become cash money millionaires, then we look to the industry to make us rich. But if we push our stuff on our own, and I think that we still actually make a dent, and we're our own enterprise, so that we can combat the machine. Because the machine now can't, you don't have to spend $1,500 an hour to put out an album now. Right. Right. So I mean, I think that it's kind of twofold, because technology is also killing us, because everybody's hands are stuck to BlackBerries and Palm Pilots, and they can't even look you in the eyes anymore. Right.
What I was saying was, I think that revolution is real, and revolution happens every generation. So there's always going to be a subculture of people who care about what happens. Now there are some that won't, but there's always going to be a subculture of people that, like, I do care about what I listen to. I do care about what's going into my psyche and my system. So I don't think that will ever die. It's just the matter in which people know about it. But I also think that what people have to understand is it's like, what's the importance? Like, what's the importance of music? What's the importance of poetry? Why are you doing what you do? So I think it's like our jobs to keep impacting people to know that there is a purpose for why we're doing what we're doing, and that instead of trying to battle the machine, the machine is going to exist whether we're here or not, rather than be creative and innovative about the ways to try to get around that.
But the thing is, though, you talk about this revolution. Where is the revolutionary spirit in this next generation? And I asked that question because when I talk about the machine, being the big corporations, helping to dumb down the music, helping to take the true lyricism, the true art away from this art of hip hop, have they kind of killed that revolutionary spirit in a lot of people? Because we talk about the early 90s, and you talk about groups like the X-Clan, you talk about Public Enemy, the people who are out there, BDP, who are out there with this very strong spirit guiding people. That's gone. You don't see that anymore. So has machine killed that spirit? Does that spirit even exist in the generation behind us now?
I would say yes. But as we all know, with information being so readily, accessible, and I think what happens is it's diluted now. It's spread out. It's there's a lot of it in R&B, certain artists, right. You know what I mean, which spawned that neo soul movement to a certain extent. It is spread out to certain segments of hip hop. It's spread out into it turns certain hip hop artists into rock artists. You know what I mean? It kind of I think that spirit is still there, but it's not as concentrated as we remember it. You know what I mean? I think that's because of the information age that we're in. That's number one. Also, the machine that we were talking about, I think we have to deny it.
The power.
You know what I mean? The fuel to crush us, so to speak. Right. And that is in just going back into the our communities and teaching younger artists and consumers.
So how's that going to happen? You talk about going back into the community and teaching younger people what the importance of music is. How to write lyrics, how to write poetry. Who is doing that? And will that even really make an impact on the broader generation? If you talk about there will be another revolution and hip hop will come again, who will lead that revolution? Well,
I think it's hard to say, but what came to my mind was that if we think about in our generation, some of the people who were very influential, it took them time to make that revolution happen. I mean, you listen to a person like a Common or like Queen Latifah even, or like, you know what I mean? Like, these people have been around for years, and to the younger generation, they just came out of nowhere.
Right.
But to us, we know that they have been putting in work for this many years. And what you were talking about is very true about it being diluted. Like, when people looked at Queen Latifah from back in the day, Queen Latifah was dressed in the African garb, and now she's on the cover of CoverGirl.
Right.
You know what I mean? And all of this type of stuff.
Right.
So this is the new wave. So she speaks about the things that are important to her that have always been there. And so I think what happens is that we don't see it as impactful because we see the changes. We see the change. So it's like, okay, how are we getting out of this the real, the real of it? I think that there are people who are doing it on a base level. And somebody said to me one time, hip hop has always been something that if you wanted to, you had to find it. Like, it wasn't going to be, the masses are not going to give, like, yeah, hey, let's uplift you. Let's let you feel better about yourself and empower yourself to go and own your own business and put us out of business. Who does that? That's not a smart business move.
True.
I'm not going to empower you to take over what I have been controlling for years. So if you're the type of person who wants that, you're going to have to seek it. So it's up to people like us to be able to give it to those, and not everybody's going to get it. But for the few, I was one of the few that did when I was coming up. So there will be a few that now that I'm teaching that will do the same thing. So I think that's where it comes from.
We only have a minute left, but quickly tell me, where can people go to find these, either more education about lyricism or the up-and-coming artists who are actually more lyrical?
Let me see. GorillaArts.org. My man Asheru runs an organization teaching hip-hop arts, in the community. So GorillaArts.org. That's one.
I would say International Association of Hip Hop Education, Dr. Will Smith. I've worked with them. Words, Beats, and Life. Fresh, which is a new nonprofit organization run by Goldie Dean, who's teaching women a mentorship through hip hop. Young Women's Drumming Empowerment Project and the Sarkay Project are both projects that are teaching girls about strength and confidence in hip hop. So.
Okay.
And I would say, like, just go to like Live on Tuesdays and listen to the local artists and have conversations with people who don't shave when you see them walking down the street, because they can tell you where to find real art.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I guess that's all we have for you guys. I would like to thank my guests for coming on today, Patrick Washington, the Princess of Controversy, and Mr. John Johnson. If you'd like to learn more about my guests, please go to our website, viewsandvibes.com. Until next time, I'm Tariiq Walton, and this has been Views and Vibes.